Want to have a little recap as an intro. So, I was building a ZX6R to put on track and take racing. However, it only actually managed half a lap on a track day before there was a load of smoke coming out the back, like a two-stroke. So that wasn't very good. I discovered that was some little seals in the engine, but while it was out, I thought, hey, let's do a rebuild. But of course, when you do a rebuild, you need to run in. Now, there was no track day in time, so can I run it in whilst qualifying and do a shakedown? Don't think so. So I needed something out of the box to go. Introduce Honda. Right, if you managed to catch that, you'll be pleased to know it's going to be a little bit of a more understandable pace from me. I just thought I'd give a quick recap. So it is obviously a Honda. It's a 2003 CBR600 F4i. Now the I is beautiful to my ears because that means it's injection. There's no carbs on here. And as you can see, it's not in standard trim. It is in fact ready to race. I knew that I had to get rid of the Kawasaki because it wasn't gonna be properly ready in time for me to go racing on. It just had to go. So I started looking at different things. Now this came up and it ticked a lot of boxes and a fair few more. So as you can see, it's all sort of not really roadworthy, is it? It's race, it's ready to go. We got enclosed bottom, rain light sort of stuff. There's just the lots of bits that meet ACU specification. And then from there, it's also been fiddled with a little bit, which is excellent. So the one thing I'm gonna do through this video, because I need to do it, you'll see we got this key here for the fuel cap. And I've ridden this bike. I had my first race meeting last month, and then a week after I had the first track day on there. So I've only been out on it twice, and twice I've been looking for this key at about 11 PM the night before, which is not ideal when you just want to relax because you've got to be up early in the morning. So what I will be fitting is a keyless fuel cap. And while I do that, we'll go on and sort of talk about the features of this bike. So I bought it from a fella called Dave Watling. You'll actually see him if you saw from the race footage. He was on his ZX6R leading the pack because he was in the novice clubman race as well. Now the first thing I asked him when I got there, he sort of sent over a few specs. So we've got WP suspension in the rear, I think it was K-Tech in the front, and it's been set up for his weight. Now he's around 3 to 5 kilos heavier than me, so negligible difference, which is excellent. As well as that, and I'm sure anyone that's seen the race footage will know, we've got a Aero steering damper up in front that I can now confirm is securely bolted and attached at all points. It wobbled out. It's kind of a bit embarrassing when you see it on the video because it's right in front of your face, but obviously I was just a bit distracted on the day, and we actually got out for a couple of sessions before it actually came loose. You could see that it was backing out, and yeah, it's attached now, so I'll go from there. Then it's got a Brembo radial master cylinder on the front brake. And I was told with Dave, you know, being that it is a, what are we on, 2019, so it's a 16-year-old bike, it's down on power compared to other things. He said it's all in the brakes. Now, I can confirm from doing track day, when I started getting a bit brave with the brakes, the stopping power on this thing is incredible. It's got the sticky Metzlers on. Obviously, the fact that the suspension is set for the weight helps massively. I've lost that fucking key again. Yeah, so the brakes work well. It is the one thing that I need to change from now that is getting low, really, is the pads. Got a set on there that will fit on there, and there's a couple of little bits that I've also fiddled with, but I thought, hey, we'll introduce the bike before I fiddle anymore. So you can see we've got an extra bit on the screen in front, which is doubly bubble anyway. Helps give it a bit of the air pocket for the rider to slip through, which is beneficial. That's about it, really. There's not too much to it. We've got some carbon fibre engine guards, or engine covers even, sort of down here, you know, tiny little rear cylinder, brake fluid reservoir even. Bump stops on the steering, which has nearly caught me out in the paddock a couple of times. You just sort of don't expect it to, well, the only time you ever use it is when parking. There's obviously a lot of the electrics has gone off. I did discover yesterday, we've got a Power Commander 5, the fueling module up underneath the tail. Discovered that when I was doing some work with the rain light, because the rain light was on the, you sort of had to reach underneath the tail and pull apart a little chocolate block, connector, and it was just a bit fiddly and not ideal, but you know, it worked until it didn't. So the light stopped working. When I investigated that, the connector had gone. So while you're in there doing the repairs, you know, may as well sort of foolproof it for next time. So I've got a illuminated little switch down on here that's just a little bit easier to get to. The MHP exhaust on there sounds absolutely stunning, and I've been told by Dave that it will meet noise regulations over across when I've got the baffle in. And of course the usual, we've got rear sets on there to sort of give it more of an aggressive riding stance. Now the one thing I did notice when riding this compared to the Kawasaki, and I know it's not really much of a comparison at all, is just how stiff it is. But of course this is championship winning track bike or race bike, whatever, whereas the Kawasaki is designed to soak up potholes and have pillion on the back. So there's no real comparison there, but that was the one thing I noticed. I thought I'd have more of a learning curve with going to a quick action throttle. Doesn't seem to be the case. I really just have gelled with this bike quite well. Now again, it's not a great comparison, but the fastest I did on the Kawasaki running clockwise was 120s. I can't remember what it was anti-clockwise because it's been a while. And then on the first session out in those races on the Honda, I was doing 120s. Now I now managed to take 3 seconds off that, and I think I may have got down into the 116s, but I didn't capture it. I only ran the GoPro facing forward on one session. But as I really got track time on, which is the benefits of a track day, you know, it's a bit more relaxed and you get far more seat time. As I got braver with the brakes and getting the throttle on, it was getting round faster and faster. Now, I don't think it was the fastest session of the day. I think the two after were, but I got a 117.1 on the GoPro, sort of frame to frame, line to line. So there's definitely improvements on there. And I think that's around about it really. Fuel caps on, which is nice. There's nothing really that I want to change. I mean, obviously I had to put some stickers on it, and I had to put a bit of green on it because when I'm riding it, there's a bit of green. Just sort of try and tie it in. They say red and green should never be seen, but you know, I like Christmas. So I think that's just about it. You know, shout out to the people that have assisted me on here. We've got Happy Dog Image Solutions is the top sticker on there, who has actually made all of the stickers. Not this bad vinyl wrapping job, that's all me. But he also makes my merch and my stickers. Links in description if you want any of them. We've then got Regal Engineering, which is my stepdad's workshop. He's been a massive help. He's a very knowledgeable man, sort of just fixes lots of problems when we've run out of wits end. And Coast to Coast Secure Care, which is the personal security alarms, which is really handy because you say that and most people think, oh, I'm not an OAP, and it's not. It's if you're out on your own, then you have one of these little alarms on you. If you fall or you sort of stop moving for too long, then it has 3 numbers that it goes to call, and then if not, then it will give emergency services your location, which is great when you're out blasting back roads on your own because no one wants to come riding. And I think that's about it. There's the Honda. It's not green, but it's doing the job wonderfully. So I think the next race is September. I'm gonna have to wait till then, but there is also track day before then, so we'll get onto that. And there is already track day footage ready to edit, so we'll also get on that when I find a few minutes. We're moving scene soon, so I'm gonna say bye to this workshop. Me and Becky are getting our own house. Of course, the one thing it needed, I had to have a garage to put the bikes because it's got no ignition. And that's it. We'll see where we're going. So, thanks for watching me chat about me Honda. For those of you that have been asking questions, if you've got any questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll wait for the next video whenever that happens. Bye bye.